Why you should expect low growth for the United States, which means low investment returns, essentially probably for the rest of all of our lives. It's that simple. And it's literally it's going to come. I'm going to show you the one chart, and you'll be like, "Yep, that makes sense." And it's depressing. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Europe, Japan, Korea, they all show the way of what happens as you get an older economy, older people, wealthier people. And China shows what happens when you strive for more growth. Now, they're going to be on the back end, too. I'll do another video on their demographic collapse. But still, it's not demographics. It's CO2. Annual CO2 emissions. All right. And this is from the ourworldanddata.org. Annual CO2 emissions. Notice the U.S. is ramping it up. So right then, right there, 2005. 6.13 billion tons of CO2 in 2005. And now we're right here in 2020 at 4.7 billion tons. Do you think the CO2 levels have gone down? No, they've gone up. It's well over 400 parts per million now. Because why? Because look at China. Mao takes over right here. Nothing. Then Deng Jinping, Xi Jinping, the premier Deng, I forgot his last name, right there. So China went to 1.34 billion from 100 million. I don't think I can log this. Can I? Let's see if we can log this. So here's China from 1900, had 721. China didn't have anything, basically no data. We had no data until basically 1947 right here when Mao took over. And you got 23 million tons of CO2. All right, then we go to the United States at, just significantly higher. Hold on a second, let me get my dog in. And so then you can see China from basically when 1977, I think, is when Deng took over. They went from 1.49 billion, look at that, to freaking right here where they're at, what, 6 billion or something like that? Look at that. To 10 billion right there. I mean, tell me that's not nuts. They've gone up by a factor of 10 in basically less than my lifetime. Look at that. So right there, it's 1977. Here's the United States. Back then, we had 4.75 billion of tons of CO2, and now we have 4.71. So over the course of my life, I was born in 1970 at 4.34 billion tons of CO2. And now we only have 4.71 billion tons of CO2. That means a lack of manufacturing. We pushed it overseas. A lack of domestic production. A lack of building. We're telling China, look at that. Just look at the difference, man. All right, so I'm going to show you something. Real world GDP. All right, so let's go. Here's the China. I mean, it's just as simple. Let's see. Can I log this one? Hold on a second. Basically, here's Deng Xiaoping. I can't remember his name, but you know what I'm talking about. From 1978, the China GDP was $1.5 trillion, and that's in today's prices, by the way. And now it's at $20 trillion and expected to even increase more than the U.S. here shortly. Look at that. Look at that. Now, if we go to edit graph, and we're going to do we're going to do a percent change. Let's do percent change here to see what that shakes out to be. There we go. Yeah, so percent change, you can see right here, look at this. A couple of negatives here, but all above 5. Look at that, 5. It's above, this is a 5% mark line. I mean, look at this. 1976. I mean, just freaking nuts, the growth. 1990, is that Tiananmen Square right there? 7.7, 1998, nothing but, just look at this. CO2 kicks in, growth takes off. Let's see what else we can do to edit graph. Percent change from a year ago. Let's do that, see what that looks like. Percent change from a year ago. And I guess we just did that. Okay, so let's do compounded annual rate of change. There we go. Compounded annual rate of change. Hey, look at that. Oh, that's not really what it's. That's still, that's fine, but it doesn't quite give me what I want. I was hoping to see compounded change from year, millions of dollars. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay. No. Anyway, so here we go, back again, 1977, and just look at that. Just the growth has been enormous in China, and because it correlates without question with a CO2 increase. I mean, look at that, man. Let's just log this. I mean, look, that's the world. Hey, what happened to my chat? Hold on a second. Okay, so look at China. The world's been growing. U.S. has been not, and here's China just growing with it. If you look at the log, I mean, just look at the U.S., man. It's sickening. All right, let's look at GDP of the United States. So we're gonna go over here, and let's pause it real quick. The United States in 1977, we had $6.7 trillion of GDP. Fast forward to 2019, we have $20.5 trillion of GDP. That's it, man. And if we look at edit graph, let's go to percent change. You can see this is going to be less than 3% by and large. So remember, China was up here above 5. Here we are in 2000, what's that, 1990, 1982, 1991, 1990, 2009, and 2020 a little bit. But I mean, this is, look, here it is between the last 10 years, less than 2.5%. We got to 3.7 in 2000. That was the last 20 years, excuse me. Look at that. We hit 3% in 2.5. We never even got 3% in 2015 and 2.99 in 2018. That's it. I mean, the last time we hit 5% was, right there, 1984. Point being is we're not growing, we're not building, and it's a mature economy. It's just it's economies of scale and whatnot. But I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's not going to happen the way it was. It's just not. It's really frustrating to me because if people seem to think that here, look, right, just look how low that is. This is a freaking U.S., man. Supposedly the bastion of freedom and ingenuity. It's just not. It just ticks me off. And look at this. The real GDP has grown by 400, like right here, in 2019, it grew by 435 billion. Whip-de-flip-and-do on a 20 billion economy. So 4 divided by 20, that's 2% growth. Wow. Right there, man, because we're not building anything. We're offshoring it all to other countries to build, and we're just taking it. And Japan is the exact same way. I'll share with you another video here in just a second about the demographic collapse and the deflationary stuff. Once we get beyond the stupidity of Sniffy Joe and his high energy cost, we're going to go right back to deflationary times. But if you expect the same rate of return as you got in the past, you're freaking nuts, man. I don't know what to tell you. All right, love your thoughts.